Hello, everybody. Welcome to Parenting ADHD Kids Naturally and Holistically, and welcome to up your game, your parenting game in 2024. Welcome to our group. If you are new to me, my name is Megan Petron. So glad that you are here. I know a lot of you have messaged me and have said that you might catch the replay later. So if you're watching on the replay, awesome. Hashtag replay. If you're watching live, hashtag live. I'm going to just wait a minute for people to be able to hop on if they'd like to. Going to double check that I'm live here quick, and then we'll get started. Hello, Charlene. Oh, thank you for commenting so that I know that my live is working. I'm running a little bit behind, but I noticed on my end, it's 111. 1:11 p.m. Central Time. I don't know what time it is for you, but I love it when I see repeating numbers. I believe those are angel numbers and good luck numbers. So even though I am a little bit late, it's all in divine timing. Maybe I was meant to be here at 111 for some good luck. So thank you for your patience if you were waiting. I just want to welcome you guys. Welcome to my group. This group was created for parents who have kids with ADHD and that are struggling with the symptoms. Some parents have kids with ADHD and there's not as much of a struggle because it might be a mild form. But what I have found is that about 99% or so of the parents who have a child with ADHD, that the diagnosis in the first place came because there was an intense struggle. So if that is you and you're a parent who has a child with ADHD who did have the struggle and is maybe still having the struggle, and so you had to go in and start the process of figuring out what is going on with my child. That's where I was when my son was 5. He got the diagnosis, and it was about 2 years prior that I was feeling there was something up. I knew probably by the time he was 3, and even in his toddler years when he was, 2, I thought, okay, this has to be toddler tantrums. This just has to be the terrible 2s. Well, then the 3s kicked in. And I had heard, oh, 3s are actually worse than 2s. It's actually the terrible 3s. Okay. But don't worry, he's going to grow out of it. All right. So I thought the tantrums and the emotional outbursts that my son has and the inability to follow any direction at all and the complete, he's an amazing kid, okay? He's an amazing kid, very smart. But the struggle I was having with him and his inability to even have any self-control, impulsive, crawling all over things and doing things that he didn't realize, but they were dangerous things. When he's on top of tables and chairs. And when I lost him in Walmart at one point in the store. Scariest moment ever. So scary. He just was not thinking, right? So he's such a brilliant kid, but people weren't looking at him like that because of the struggles. The threes came. So if you're like me, you're here because your child struggled and you were like, I got to figure out what's wrong with my child. You're in a good place here. Just a little bit more, of why I created this group, why I'm creating this class. So I can relate to you, let's just say. So I had my son at 3 thinking, it's going to be okay now. It's going to be past the 3s. I thought it was the terrible 2s. Then I thought it was the terrible 3s. He's going to grow out of it. And then the 4s come. Nothing is better. In fact, it's just getting worse. He's in preschool at this point. I'm his preschool teacher at that point. So back then, I was a preschool teacher. I have a degree in education and a teaching license. And so my previous career before becoming certified in holistic nutrition and my training in ADHD and parenting, before that, I was teaching. And I also taught kindergarten, and I've taught all the way up to 7th grade. And so my son, it was kind of interesting because I thought, this is perfect. I will be my son's preschool teacher, so I'm going to get 50% off the preschool, paying preschool. So I was like, I'm going to have him in my classroom, and I'm going to have this job. I get 50% discount. This is going to be great. I get to see my kid all the time. He's in my preschool classroom. But it was actually really hard, and it gave me some insight on how he is in a classroom. So 4s, here's the 4s, and he is, I see at this point, there's a point in time where I'm co-teaching with another teacher, right? And it's time to clean up. And my son would not have it. It was not time to clean up for him, okay? He got very angry. He went from, so his emotions went from he's okay to angry, like real quick. Tantrums real quick. So I'm very curious if you can put in the comments, do any of your children go from they seem to be okay in one emotion and then the next thing you know, they're angry really quick? Do any of you have that? And I am going to go into the comments here. I see some of you commenting. Thank you so much. I want to keep going with this story and the why we're doing this and get into these 5 tips for you for parents who have kids with ADHD so that you can really rock this year. Really want you to rock this year. So let me just give you a little bit more insight. But let me stop for a minute and just say hello. I know, Charlene, you said hello. Thanks so much for being live. And says Andrew is watching. Hello. And Audra, you say you're live. Hi, Audra. Haven't talked to you in a while. Nice to see you're on here. Debbie says you're live. Hello. Please feel free to say hello. And to comment. I'm gonna do some coaching for you guys here. If you ask questions and comment, that will help you to, interacting with me helps me to know how I can make the live personable for the people who are watching. Charlene said yes in a snap. So you agree that your child goes from one emotion to the next quickly. How old is your child, Charlene? And also you said, I'm always hearing it's just a boy thing. It's just his age, or he'll grow out of it. He's 7, very impulsive. Oh, I answered my own question. He's 7. Perfect. Thanks for letting me know. I understand. It is not a boy thing. They are not going to grow out of it. This is not a phase. when someone grows out of the behavior, they're actually not growing out of it, but you could say they're growing, right? They're learning. So there is self-development growth. So when these behaviors stop, that means something happened. Something went on, something happened. There was growth. So some kids will grow out of it because maybe they had experiences that allowed them to grow and learn and have skills to change their behavior. Perhaps they use healing remedies to heal the symptoms. So let's just stop with that. Hopefully that helps you to kind of get a little grasp on it. But so my son, 4 years old, he is in my classroom and I'm his teacher and I have a co-teacher with me. It's time to clean up, and suddenly he goes from everything's fine to snapping. He's angry. He can't control himself, which is also a symptom of ADHD, believe it or not, in some kids. But also it can be another diagnosis simultaneously, which he did end up getting. He has he does not have this anymore, but he had oppositional defiant disorder in combination with ADHD. That's very common. Other times you might just have ADHD, but there are some underlying things going on. Anger can be one of the symptoms. Let's just say that. All right, so he got so angry, he picked up a chair with his little body that did not look like he should be able to do this, but his adrenaline's going, and he threw the chair across the room. It could have hit kids. Someone could have got hurt badly, actually. It was very hard. It was mortifying. I'm so glad no one got hurt. I was mortified though. I looked over at the co-teacher I'm teaching with. She's standing right by me. Her mouth drops. And I know what she's thinking. Gosh dang, you have the worst behaving child in this classroom. What is going on? You're a teacher. I was thinking, gosh, why is my child the worst behaving child in this classroom? I mean, it was hard. It was extreme. The kids were listening for the most part. They're 4 years old. All 4-year-olds don't really listen to everything. They're learning. But for the most part, I mean, they were listening. And there was a few that had some behavior issues in the classroom as well. But I will tell you, mine topped the behavior issues by far. He had to have he had to be constantly pulled out of the classroom by the director to go and get space and be safe away from the classroom. Now, when my child was calm, his nervous system was regulated, he was like the most huggy, lovey, sweet boy, so smart, wanting to help. I mean, I have the most amazing kid, in my opinion, because I'm his mom, right? I mean, I just feel so connected to him. But the features were not coming out because the ADHD symptoms were covering it. I couldn't see those good features in him very often because the ADHD was too much to handle at that time. 5 years old came, 6 years old came, 5 and 6-ish area. He entered kindergarten. The kindergarten teacher, right away in his first year of real school, elementary, it was just like that first week. Hello, is this Tristan's mom? Yep, it is. Already knowing in my heart, this is going to be bad. Yep, I'm going to need you to come into the office. We need to chat, or into the classroom. His office, classroom. One or the other on a constant basis, but that first phone call. we need to have a chat about Tristan. Back then, you came into the classroom. Now, you mostly do things on the phone. Sometimes you go into the classroom. I feel like you're getting away from going into the classroom. So maybe just a phone call. But at those days, because my son is now 17. All right. There is a good ending to the story. 17 and doing great. But when he was 5 and 6 in kindergarten, you came into the classroom. That means they could see my face getting red. They could see me sweating. They could see me breathing. They could see my stress. I couldn't hide behind the telephone, okay? These teachers also, I could see and look at their stress. They were really stressed out. And so that first week, it was already, Tristan doesn't listen. And he's crawling under tables. He isn't doing any of his work. We are trying to write some letters and we're trying to practice writing. And, he's under the table while everybody's doing that. Or he's throwing spitballs at kids while everybody's writing. Or, and he's not a malicious kid. It's just he did not have the ability to focus. All right, we're going to fast forward, okay? We're going to fast forward because I want to get to these tips for you, but it's important to kind of see where I was at so you can see, what did I change? What did I do? I'm not going to be able to give you every single thing that I did in this one live, but I am going to give you something that can start you off and get you off to a good start in the 2024. I want you to have a great 2024, and there are some things you can shift right away. This is a process, but let's get you started. So fast forward to my story. My son's first grade year, second grade year, third grade year, they were a nightmare. It was the same type of thing going on. I actually switched him schools after kindergarten. I thought, it's the school. It's got to be the school. I needed better school for him. So he switched schools and we went to a private school. I thought, all right, public education, I ain't gonna do that. Now I'm gonna go to private school. Tried the private school. It was actually no better. In fact, it was worse. So I switched him back to another new school. It was another public school, okay? I just kept trying new things. I took him to the doctor and they said, looks like your child needs medication. I said, is there any other answers? Can you give me something else? Something to do with him, a strategy? Is there anything natural? Is something I can do to heal his body? No answers. The answer for the doctor was medication. That didn't feel right to me. Long story short, medication screwed up my body. I was on dozens of so many medications in my teens, in my very early 20s. And I am now med-free. I wanted my son to be med-free. He was already on medications for things, not ADHD, but he was on medications for allergies and asthma. And he had rashes and eczema. And I'm like, I can't put my kid on another medication. He's already having side effects from these medications. I have side effects, and it just doesn't feel right. I was starting to get into the natural, holistic realm of living, and it just didn't feel good to me. I thought, there's got to be a different way besides medication. Started my research, and I figured out there is actually another way besides medication. 100%. Even with the children like mine who are the naughtiest in the classroom, failing school, have a combination of ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder. That's a hard diagnosis. And I am not with his father, who has a completely different lifestyle that I cannot control, I still found a way to naturally and holistically improve his symptoms. So suddenly, I actually was introduced to a couple different mentors, as well as a couple of different parent trainings, different books. I mean, I spent quite a few years learning how to naturally heal ADHD. And my son all of a sudden went from failing school to getting A's and B's. It kind of started with C's. I'd say it was like, oh, you're finally getting a C. You're finally getting a C now. That's great. You're passing. You're doing the work. I went to B's. And now he's almost an all A's student. A's, some B's. He finally got all A's last semester. And is that the best part? No, that's not even the best part. I don't even care that much about his grades, to be honest, because let's be real. No matter what grades you get, you can still be successful in life. And the point is, you want to be happy. You want to be happy. And so I see some of you commenting. I'm going to read them in a moment. And so I realized, wow, my son actually was pretty miserable previously. And that is why he acted the way he did. I was really miserable as a mom. I felt like I was failing as a mom. Now, this all is going to tie into what I'm going to share with you. I have some notes. This is all going to tie in to what I'm going to share with you that you can start doing right now for 2024. And I have something really special for you coming up. Besides this class, we're going to do some extra work together for free too, for free. This is kind of a prerequisite of another training I have that is going to support you very holistically, and it is free. And I'll tell you about that a little bit toward the end. So my kiddo now is happy. That is the point. So he's feeling better in his body. When I tell you I'm going to have 5 major tips to up your parenting game, meaning you're going to help you rock the 2024, the very first thing I want you to think about, the very first tip is know why you are doing what you're doing with your child. Why are you here? Why do you want your child to get better? Why do you want these symptoms to improve? Why do you want the behavior to improve? Why? So this is tip 1, and it goes into my story. He is now happy. That is my why. And I am happy with him. I have kind of a combination of whys. I'm happy. Happy every single day, all day? Hell no. But majority. It went from a flip of I'm 99% unhappy and miserable with my son. I do not have a connection with him. He's fighting me every single day. I cannot get him to do his homework. He doesn't listen to me. It's a battle. I'm yelling at him. I'm a yeller. I will say, once a yeller, always a yeller. You're kind of what is it called? I forgot the term. I'll come up with it later, probably. Recovered. I got it. Sorry. I couldn't think of the word. I am a recovered yeller, you guys, seriously. So that means I don't yell so much anymore, but I have to, and I'm recovered from it. I was yelling at him constantly every day, and it was automatic, and it was a habit because I was so stressed out. And now recovering from that is I am now mastering myself to control my own emotions, to not yell at him when I am upset. We have a different dynamic in our relationship now. And it takes practice. And that is tip 2. These tips all flow into each other. So I'm going to continue to elaborate on them. So tip 1, know why you're doing this. We're going to get more into that because it's so important to know what the hell the point is. What is the point? We have to know why we're doing this. Why are you going to really try hard to rock 2024? Why is it worth it? Why are you not going to give up on your child who has ADHD? Why are you going to stand up and be the best version of you as a mom or a dad, or maybe you're a caregiver, grandma, grandpa, maybe you're caring for a child that has ADHD. Why are you not going to give up and you're going to be the best version of you? We're going to talk more about that because it's so important. And 2, self-mastery. Self-mastery meaning what I just said. What did I need to change? What are my methods that need to change? My method that needs to change is probably a lot of yours. Yelling. I cannot yell. It does not work. If you yell, it does not work. It may work for a moment. And that is why I yelled, because at first, the yelling worked. It was like, oh yes, my son is afraid of me now. I am in control. I am an authority. I'm going to yell at him and he's going to listen to me, right? That's how I was. And once in a while, because I'm recovered, right? But sometimes I slip a little bit and I will find myself yelling. And my son knows that I have a self-mastery goal to not yell at him. And if I yell at him, I owe him an apology. I absolutely owe him an apology for yelling, and I get to try again, and I get to do that over. Just like when he does something wrong, he gets to try again. He owes an apology. He gets to do it over and practice the right way. And so when we are role modeling by that self-mastery, we are teaching our kids how we act. So your own goals and your own self-mastery is going to help you parent your child with ADHD 100%. And I do have another training coming up, like I was mentioning, that I'm going to give you details on, that's going to help you with that self-mastery in a much deeper way. This is a prerequisite of this training, this next training I'm going to do. Let me read your comments. I'm sorry that I haven't read them yet. Debbie, hello. You said our grandson doesn't stay in his seat in first grade and doesn't stay on task. Teacher is concerned with his lack of attention and that he is not learning at all, or all that he needs to. Says his best subject is math, then reading, and handwriting is the worst for him. Thank you, Debbie, for sharing this. And I bet you a lot of parents here, if you can relate to Debbie, that your child has, or maybe you have a grandchild, whoever you're taking care of, right? I know you're taking care of your grandson, Debbie. So your kiddos likely have handwriting issues if they have ADHD. Not all, but most. So a lot of you can probably relate to the handwriting. this is a symptom of ADHD. Typically, now remember, everyone's their own individual, so we're not going to stereotype and say all kids with ADHD, but it is many, and kids who have ADHD have trouble sitting down and writing with the handwriting. Okay, that's a big one. So there are things you can do to help accommodate for the child. I will say this is not a training on that, but when you work with me inside of our programs one-on-one, this is one thing that is common that parents will ask help with. And we create a customized plan to help with accommodations or modifications for children who have issues with the handwriting, as well as other subjects in school. These children need accommodations. Just as an example, this actually is another example that came to my mind, is test taking. I required my son's teacher to allow my son to take the test orally, meaning she had to read the questions and he could say the answers instead of write them. You as a parent have rights. You may request these type of things. It is up to the school to follow it. But as a parent with rights on how you want things to be done, if they choose not to follow it, there are ways that you can also require the school to follow it. The first step is to ask, will you follow it without documentation? However, because I'm a parent advocate, I'm a child advocate and a parent advocate, so I help parents inside my programs with these kind of issues with the schools and how to set things up for success. And I used to write IEPs when I taught special ed, and I know all the rules about it. So you can also request a 504 plan or an IEP to be followed. And if there is one, they have to follow it. So there's steps you can take. All right, there's steps you can take. Just throwing it out there that if you feel like you want to work with me one-on-one, send me a message and we can talk. So, Charlene said meds were a total nightmare. What happened? I'm really sorry that meds were a nightmare, and that's true for a lot of parents. I mean, you get stories where parents are, time and time again, when the child is on meds, there's a little time in there where things might improve for a little bit. You get a little relief, like, oh, my kid's focusing more. But what's the cost of your kid focusing more? The symptoms start happening, and the symptoms are not fun. When your child stops eating, loses the appetite, becomes nutrition deficient, organs are shutting down, the brain can't function properly, you need to up the dose. When all of a sudden your child is like completely reliant and addicted to these meds, I mean, there's a lot of symptoms. Now, if your child is on meds right now, maybe you're in the learning phase of, well, I don't really want my child to be on meds. I felt like that was my only option. I'm here to learn and see if I can maybe reduce the meds, maybe get my child off the meds and do some natural remedies instead. Maybe that's where you are. Or maybe you're like, maybe I want to do meds and also combine it with some natural remedies. That can help. No matter where you are, you're doing the best you can, and I'm not going to judge you. Because I know that you're doing what you can do. You're only doing what you know. But I will suggest, and this is not medical advice, but you try your best to naturally heal your child without meds if you feel that that is something that is aligned with you. It's your choice. So I'm not going to give you guys medical advice, but I will say it's possible. If you want to do it, you can. And so that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help parents to heal their kiddos' ADHD naturally. And it's possible. So, Charlene says, when my son was on meds, it was a nightmare. He was leaving bruises on me. Wow. Since taking him off meds, that has stopped, but he is still so angry. Poor boy. Yeah. I'm here to help. Thank you for sharing that. We can get you some support. Reach out to me if you want some support as well, guys. You know, if you just to give you guys a heads up, you know, I do these free trainings, but I do have a very deep level program. It's called the ADHD Parenting Success System. This is a 12-week online program that walks you step by step by step on how to reduce symptoms naturally. And you get drastic results within as little as those 12 weeks. You start feeling better. Even in the first couple of weeks, you can really see a difference. It is for a lifetime where you learn how to do these things for 6 months, a year, 3 years, 10 years, and beyond. And it's self-paced. You get to work on it as you want, as you can. And it takes about 20 minutes or so a day to get through the 12 weeks. Listen to a video and do an action step. If you can't do 20 minutes one day, then you do 40 minutes another day. You know, you can do it once a week. You can do it every day. And then on top of it, I also work one-on-one privately with clients. So if you want any information, send me a private message. I would be happy to talk with you. We get on the phone and I connect with you on the phone. You fill out a little bit of information before we get on the phone so I know about you. I can't take everyone. I'm not going to work with everybody, but if it seems like a good fit, we will talk about the program. And we get on the phone for about 20-30 minutes and talk about what you need, what your needs are. It's completely free to talk to me for the first, call so that we can get to know each other and learn about each other. So moving on, message me if you want information on that. Debbie, you said, yes, you want our grandchild to be happy and feel good about himself. Amazing. This is the tip number 1 we were talking about. Why? Why do you want to heal your children's symptoms naturally? And Debbie said, because she wants her grandchild to be happy, feel good about himself. Do you know, my friends, that most kids with ADHD end up with depression because they have a lack of confidence and self-esteem compared to their non-ADHD peers? They're neurodivergent kids. ADHD kids are considered neurodivergent or neurodiverse. And so compared to their peers who are not neurodiverse, okay, they have a lack of self-esteem and they grow up feeling crappy about themselves because they are told no and shamed more often than the average child. And it's sad. And so that's why my other tip, the second tip that I was talking to you about is self-mastery for yourself, so that you can be so self-aware, become so self-aware on how you're affecting your child. And so my one thing that I'm working on is the yelling that I've worked on for several years. If I yell and shame my son, it is going to create what? If you yell and shame your kids, what is it going to create? Fear, anxiety, guilt, feeling that they're not good enough, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. They're a bad kid. So instead, we need to reframe it and shift what we say to our kids and how we behave to our kids. And instead, we talk with them calmly. Calmly is effectively. And we connect. Connection builds cooperation. And so that brings me to the third tip, which is connect deeply with your child. Connection builds cooperation. And these all are intertwining with each other. So you know why you're doing this. And you are building self-mastery in yourself. And you're connecting with your child. So when this year in 2024, if you can create a goal to connect with your child deeply every single day in some way, or you can say every week, make a goal to connect in some way every single week. And I would say every single day, but I don't know if your child is with you every single day, but every single day that you see your child, connect in some way, and at least once a week, make sure it's a deep connection. But the small ways we connect every day, they gradually create a deep connection, the daily connection. And so write this down, put it on your fridge, or put it in your office, or put it on your bedroom, or wherever you're going to see it. Connection builds cooperation. I'm going to give you an example. If you were to say to your child and scream at your child, okay, how many of you have a child who forgets to brush their teeth? That's one example of that I hear a lot is, they forget. They're forgettable. And so maybe they don't forget to brush their teeth. How many of them, forget to put their clothes in the hamper or the laundry basket after they're done taking a shower, or to hang up their towel? Things like that. Forgetful. So are you the parent or the mom or the dad or the grandma or the grandpa or caregiver that says, why didn't you brush your teeth? I told you so many times to brush your teeth and you just can't remember. I don't understand. This was me, all right? Sometimes I still do it. Very rarely, but I had to. So when we talked about, when I was sharing with you what I want you to do to rock this 2024, it's because we have to reframe things. We have to do these differences in how we speak. And when I say you want to connect with your child, this is the time to connect. It's not just when things are going well. It's when things are driving you crazy. So instead, let's reframe and connect. Instead of yelling, instead of shaming, instead of punishing, connect. So this is what that would look like. Instead, okay, your child forgets to brush their teeth. Hey, Johnny. Okay, this is a script I'm giving you. Inside my programs, I give scripts, literal exact scripts. This comes right out of my program. You'd say these 2 words. Are you ready? Listen up. The magic 2 words you say to a child first when they're doing something wrong and you're trying to connect with them. Hey, Johnny, I noticed. These are the 2 words. I noticed. These are non-threatening words. They are non-blaming words, non-shaming words. They are inviting, friendly words. Also showing awareness and observation and curiosity. I noticed, Johnny, that you didn't brush your teeth today. Okay, 1 sentence. You're showing curiosity now because this is connection. Curiosity builds connection. Connection builds cooperation with your child. Your child's going to want to cooperate after this. Now, Johnny, can you just share with me, why did you not brush your teeth today? Or, goodness, Johnny, I noticed that I have to remind you almost every time that it's time to brush your teeth or to pick up your clothes off the floor when bath time is over. What's going on there? Now you are bridging connection, you're inviting, and that's a bridge. You're inviting. Can you share with me what's going on? Okay? And then your child can respond. I just keep forgetting, I don't know why, blah, 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 blah. A lot of the time they say, I don't know. It's okay if they say that. It's still a bridge of a connection. Kids are always going to say that. And honestly, they might not really know the answer. Not off the bat. Internally, in their intuition, they do know the answer. But they're probably afraid to tell you. That is, if you're anything like how I was, and I was constantly yelling, okay? Maybe you have a better connection than I did with my son, and maybe your kids are not afraid to tell you. But mine was, and now he's expressed to me that he used to be afraid to tell me things, but now he actually opens up to me and he explains to me he just can't remember things, or he was really busy or really tired, or his brain just wasn't working right, or feeling good. He wasn't feeling good. He was feeling kind of rushed. He was kind of stressed about something. Whatever, he shares it with me. Now that my son tells me, oh, I was just stressed about something, and I say, oh my goodness, okay, can you tell me more? Tell me more. 3 and more magic words. Tell me more about that. And now your child gets to tell you why they're stressed out, or what was happening in their life, etc. And you are building a connection because you are now going from you're curious, you're inviting, and now you're caring. You're caring and concerned. Oh my goodness. All right. And then you're going to lead it into comfort. Comforting. All right. So what would help you to feel better? Would you like a hug? Would a hug help you feel better? Ask your children, what would help you feel better? Because it's not about whatever's going on. There's something deeper usually. And then you'll get back to the issue at hand, which is what you want. What is it that you wanted? You want your child to just brush their dang teeth or pick up after themselves without you asking and dragging it on every single day and nagging and yelling and etc., right? So now that you can get back to that because you are connecting and your child is now going to have open ears. They're going to be okay with listening to what you have to say. Their nervous system is regulated. When their nervous system is regulated, they will hear you. If they are scared of you, if you're, yelling, their nervous system isn't regulated and they will not hear you. So this is the time where now that you've built this connection, they see you care, you're curious, you're helpful, you're comforting. You're going to go back and to the issue at hand that you had and say, what do you think will help you to remember to brush your every day? And that's where you get creative. And that's, this is another thing I help parents inside the program. We create things that can help. And I give tools that can help. So one example would be a reward system. Every time they brush their teeth, without you asking them to brush their teeth, they can get a sticker on their chart. Or maybe they just need a reminder. The reminder does not need to come from you. Your child can use other resources so you can create or, whatever the issue is. This is just an example. So with like the teeth brushing, like having a picture of a toothbrush and it says brush teeth, the check mark box, and every day they have to check it off for that day of the week. You can easily print something like that off, put it up, and they can have a reminder in their front of their face before they go to bed. They need to brush their teeth. Or when they get out of the shower, maybe they see a sign that says reminder to clean up their towel. And if that's not enough, then use that plus a reward system of, oh my gosh, I cleaned up my towel and now I get a sticker on my chart or a smiley face on my chart. And then at the end, you focus on giving them a positive reward or positive consequence. Positive and negatives, remember they have to match, but this will match their love language. And I'm not going to go into that because that's so much, but I do have more trainings. Let's see. I did a training on consequences. I might have to find it and I could try to post it. Maybe I'll add that in to the next training that I have. But going back to, you are the third tip, connecting. And that is, and do you see, did the example see how that will bridge cooperation with your child? I hope that made sense. What questions do you have? I see some comments. Let's see here. Hello, I see Kelly now watching. Let me go back. And I read a lot of these comments already, but not all. So now where did I leave off? All right, Charlene, your why. One of your whys is because you love your son and want him to be happy and making friends. And I love that so much. And my son isn't learning. reading. He's not reading, he's not learning. Totally understand. Hopefully this is helping you guys. Let me read all of these comments. Debbie says, can I request this kind of accommodation without the ADHD diagnosis? Yeah, you can. Absolutely. However, there is a process to it. Sometimes it can get complicated with certain schools, and schools can work with you, sometimes they don't. And so this is why I do what I do and help parents and work with them one-on-one and be a school advocate. And I help you through what to say to the school and how to go throughout the process. Typically, there is sometimes that schools will say that you need a diagnosis. For an IEP, you typically do need a diagnosis. For a 504 plan, you do not. And they also can just make accommodations because they just want your kid to succeed. When I was a teacher, I was making accommodations for a lot of my kids because it helped my kids learn. It wasn't because I had a piece of paper that said that this is your IEP or 504 plan. It was because that's what teaching should be, is accommodating for kids. And not all teachers will do that philosophy, but it's your right as a parent to stand up for your child and request it. So if you want some support around it, Debbie, just message me and we can talk about working together, and I'd be happy to help you. All right, I'm going to move forward since we're getting off track a little bit. Charlene, to answer your question about the program, you would have to message me because it depends if you are working with me one-on-one or if you are not working with me one-on-one inside the program, because it's self-paced and depends on what your needs are. And also, I don't know if you're a fit for the program yet or not. So we would want to talk first and I customize it for you. And also, pricing goes up every semester. So it would depend on when you join. So let's talk privately. Send me a message. Charlene says, not with public schools. It's hard. Not sure what you were referring to. I want my son to be comfortable in his own skin. I have noticed sometimes the kiddo will completely disregard what is being asked of him by an adult. Yeah, totally understand. So was this helpful so far? Questions around those 3 tips. And I will look at the comments. All right. So we talked about why we're doing this. It's so important. We talked about self-mastery first, and we can go on and on about these, how to master ourselves. But I'm going to do another training that will go dive more into this. And the third one being connect with your child every single day if you can. So moving forward into the 4th step. Now, this one can be very long and drawn out. So this one is a hard one to know what exactly that you can do. Step by step is in my program. So I'm trying to narrow it all into one. You have to find the root cause of your child's ADHD. You have to find the root cause. So I encourage you in 2024 to begin experimenting and finding out, why does your child actually have the ADHD in the first place? There are a lot of root cause issues. There are many. So what I did, and what I'm going to do, is I'm going to, in an upcoming training, which I'm going to give you details about, like I said, I'm going to be going into deep level work with you on how to find the root cause of your child's ADHD symptoms. This is going to be a much more deeper level training. I want you to be there if you want to figure out what could be causing your child's ADHD. There are some factors to consider when it comes to symptoms. So in this training, this is, I'm feeling that that's all I should say about that right now, is just the fourth tip is you gotta find the root cause. There's not enough time in this training to go over how to do that, which is why I'm gonna put this together in the next training. All right, so with that being said, number 5, build resilience in your kiddo, okay? So in 2024, one thing you can do, which I began to do with my son when I started to notice differences, of course, I did those other 5 tips, but one major thing I did is I learned how to build resilience in him, meaning when he came home from school with an issue, or when he was struggling with homework at home, or maybe a chore or a task or something that he was supposed to do that he didn't want to do, or he had some kind of challenge in his life, I could not solve the problem for him. I had to help him solve his own problems. I had to let him learn from his mistakes. I had to help him build his confidence to knowing and believing in himself and believing that he can do hard things. So when your child, there's a lot of things you can do to help build resilience, but this was one of the major ones I really loved. When my son came to me, does your child ever come to you? I'm really curious, and is like whining, pouting, and they say, "This is hard. This is too hard." Right? Anyone ever hear that? If you have, say yes, so I know. And this is what you say, what I just said. You can do hard things. And I live by that motto. Audra says yes all the time. Ah, right. So you understand. I live by that motto, and I teach my child to go by that motto. So you can agree. I don't want you to say, "Oh, no, it's not that hard. Gosh, can't you just do it when I ask you to do?" I don't want you to go with that mindset, because remember, you are in self-mastery. You are going to reframe, and you are instead are going to say, okay, you're going to say, "Yeah, it's hard. I agree. I understand it's hard. You feel it's hard. It might not be hard for you as the parent, right? It might not be hard for other kids, but if your child says, 'This is too hard," all right, well, maybe they feel it's too hard. Okay, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it, all right? That means this goes back to your building a connection. Connection builds cooperation. See how these tips all go hand in hand? So acknowledge and say, "Yeah, I understand you feel it's hard. And also, you can do hard things. It's hard, and you can do hard things." Now, you might have to do accommodations with those hard things. you might have to do, you might have to modify what they're doing and do it a little bit different way so that they can do it. And that's okay. That's okay. Charlene says, I feel kids with ADHD have a hard time with having confidence in what they do, and it can be anything. Absolutely. Perfect point. Exactly. So that is why we have to build up that resiliency. That is why that is that next tip, because you're right. And that is actually a fact that kids with ADHD have a lower self-esteem and lower confidence than their peers. And so we get to build up their confidence and build up their resiliency. And so having them live by that motto, I can do hard things. So put it up on the wall, write it down, have them say it all over the place, have them say it multiple times a day, I can do hard things. And so eventually it's going to click in their brain. You have this pathway in your brain. The nervous system has all these pathways, and you've got these pathways in your brain that it's like when you're driving on a trail, right? Okay, let's just give you this really great example how the pathway works in your brain. And so motivation is hard for them, you say, yes. And so the pathway, it's like they're always thinking to themselves, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this, because they failed and they fail and they fail and they're told no and they're shamed or whatever's going on. They have they have a hard time with things, so they just feel like a failure. And so they've got this pathway in their brain that's like, I can't do this, okay? And that's kind of like a trail. If we were to be driving a tractor on a trail, and if you were to drive that tractor on a trail every single day for years and years, you're going to eventually see the trail on the ground, and the tractor will practically drive itself. It's like the wheels have created these imprints on the ground, and the tractor just goes. And if you were to try to pull the tractor at a different trail, it would be hard, because it's got those grooves in the trail and it knows exactly where to go. You're driving along, and if you were to let go, it could practically drive itself. I mean, those grooves are pretty deep, right? You got that trail, you can see it. But what you got to do is think about, all right, now we need to create a new path. So you've got to crank the wheel of that tractor, and you got to start creating a new path and start going down that path over and over and over again until that path has more grooves than this path, so that this new path becomes easier than the old one. It's how the brain works. Your child has to start a new pathway, and a motto helps. So your motto, you can do hard things. I can do hard things. You can say, your child saying, I can do hard things, and then trying the hard thing is a new pathway that they're creating. And then it's going to be, and it's hard to get there. It's not going to take one time. So they'll do it again and again and again until eventually they have built that pathway and they are in the habit of trying things that are hard even when they're uncomfortable. And that is resilience. Building resilience. So, hopefully these tips will help you guys and have helped you. Let me know your feedback if you're live still. If you're on the replay, just hashtag replay and let me know how you feel about this training and what was helpful for you. Charlene, you're saying positive affirmations may help. Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Good question. So to recap, let's recap the 5 tips and then let's talk about the next training, which I am so excited for. I'm just so excited for it. I have taught this training in the past, but it's been a while and I've added so many good things. I cannot wait to share it with you because it's like, I mean, I could probably charge a lot of money for this training and you're going to get it for free. And I'm just so excited to share it. And I just asked you guys to share it. That's what I want from you back. I want you to share the trainings, share the group, put it on your page, share with other parents that need help. Just share it so the world is a better place. That's what I want you to do in return. Now, our 5 tips were: know exactly why you're doing this. Get really clear on it. Self-mastery. Connecting with your child. And remember, connection builds cooperation. Building resiliency. And did I just do 5 or 4? I think I just did 4. I'm missing one. Which one did I just miss? You know what? Do me a favor. Can somebody put the 5 in the comments? Because I know I missed one. And, oh, excuse me. I just remembered it. Find your root cause. Find the root cause. Thank you, Debbie. If somebody puts them in all 5 in the comments too, that's really helpful for people. So you guys, listen, I don't have the date set yet. It's probably going to be Monday, Tuesday, something like that. It's probably going to start Monday, but I'm going to have a link with all the details, and so that you get reminders of when I'm live. And this is called the 5 whole days of training you guys get from me. 5-day parenting breakthrough workshop. I'm going to get you a huge breakthrough in 5 days. You're going to go from being stressed out to getting a light bulb moment, breaking through some of these terrible patterns that our kids have. And in there, we're going to help you find the root cause. I'm going to teach you like what to do to find that root cause. We're going to have some nutrition tips. I'm a certified integrative nutrition health coach. And I've also had tons of parenting and ADHD training. They go hand in hand. So I can give you all the parenting tips in the world, but if you don't do nutrition, you're going to have a gap in there. But if you do nutrition and you don't use parenting techniques, you're going to have a gap in there, which is why we're going to incorporate both parenting techniques as well as nutritional healing techniques you can use. And we're going to help you find the root cause of your child's ADHD. I'm going to give you lots of like what can cause it and how to find it and how to figure it out. In those 5 days, you should have a huge breakthrough. Now, if you want the full level support where it's like, take the 5 days and then keep going with it and continue getting results, you can work with me privately and you can go into my 12-week course. This 5 days is like going to be like a prerequisite of the course. Go into these 5 days, you will see so much, get so much out of it. And if you want to keep going, you can go right into my 12-week course. And then also you can work with me privately. So if you want information on my course on reducing symptoms and you want information on working with me privately, send me a message. If you want the link to join this free 5-day parenting breakthrough class, comment parenting breakthrough or parenting breakthrough class. So, or yeah, one of those, because then I can see, all right, parenting breakthrough. So this is the 5-day parenting breakthrough workshop. We're going to be together for 5 days. Like I said, I'm going to have a link, and the link is so you can register. When you register, I'm going to send out the links to all of the replays in case you cannot join me live. You're also going to get reminders when I am live, so that if you do want to join live and you forget easily, you could be like, oh, all right, she's going to be live today. Thank you for the reminder. You're going to get a workbook. So you absolutely want to register just specifically for the workbook. There's a workbook that you get to print out and you're going to use it. We have to use it. There's going to be a tool in there on finding the root cause of your child's behavior issues, and you're going to need to write on it. You absolutely are not going to get anything out of this workshop that's coming out if you can't do the work. So if you want the link to do the workshop with me, just put parenting breakthrough class or link in the comments so I know how to reach you. You can also send me a private message. That's a really good way to connect. Now, if you did put link in the comment, or you put parenting breakthrough class in the comments, and I send you a message with the link, if I've never sent you a message before and we're not friends on Facebook, my message is likely going to go into the message request folder or spam folder, and you're not going to see it. So what you can do is add me as a friend on Facebook. I do allow parents to go ahead and add me as a friend so that you can easily connect with me and receive my messages. And then another thing is just go into your message request folder and check it. Go into your spam folder and check it. If you still don't see a message from me, you didn't receive the link for any reason, just tag me in the group. Comment here and tag me on this live. Go back to the live and tag me and say, hey, I didn't receive the link, because you want the workbook and it's going to go right to your email so that you can print it off. It's a PDF. Or you can, just make a post, just get my attention. I am here for you guys. I have an assistant that works with me as well. She helps me with the tech stuff. She helps me with members in the group to get things to you guys. So we're here to support you. Charlene, you said I don't have a printer. So as long as you can view the workbook, just pull it up on the computer or your phone or an iPad, the tablet. You can just pull up the workbook and look at it. And then you can use a piece of paper to write. But at least you'll see what it is that we're working on. And then this is a modification that we'll give you, right? So if you have, for anyone else watching too, if you have a touch screen, iPad, phone, or computer, and you can use your finger to write in the workbook, you can do that. Or you can just look at it on your phone and do the writing part on a piece of paper. So it's totally fine, but you just want to make sure you can view it. If you don't have a printer and you really do want to print it off, I highly recommend you print it for best results. Go to the library and you can print things typically for free at the library. So I hope those are some good tips for you guys to be able to get that workbook. So today I am going to post information on the class, and there will be a calendar event that you can click on that says going or not going, and so that you have all the information there and you can get the reminder on the calendar too. So I'll post it. Just be watching for it. I'm gonna do that today. Thank you guys for joining me, and if you're watching replay, always ask questions too. I'm gonna go back and read all the comments. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm excited to see you guys in the 5-day workshop starting next week. And happy 2024. Happy New Year. Bye.